Hey guys, here is the gear for today. As usual, we're getting toward the end of August though, so won't be too much longer. The Nacet is going to be 570 will be the count for today. And it will go into, as usual, the timeless open comb 68 gap stainless steel razor. We're going to load with the brush as usual with B13 knot. The handle, Dogwood Handcrafts and Briar Brushworks. And it's the hybrid handle from Dogwood, where usually the part up here near the knot is a wooden type material or something opaque, and then the bottom or a large part of the body is more clear. And in this case, it has like some glitter or sparkles in there. Sometimes you can see something like a moonscape or something in there if it's clear enough. I've seen some cool ones where he has taken and put a white layer on top of the kind of rough wood, and so it does look like an Arctic surface in there through the clear part of the handle. So that's why he calls it a hybrid. Had it soaking for just a few minutes. And then the scent in the soap, splash, and cologne is the Chiseled Face Midnight Stag. I don't remember if I mentioned some new technique or some new experimental thing to try as we get toward the last few days of August. But I think I thought of something last time, but then I realized it wasn't going to work. So you know what? Let's just do oh yeah, I remember now. Let us do a bowl lather. And what we're going to do is we're going to load kind of on the dry side, but lightly wet. Kind of my usual back when I was bowl lathering just a ton before I started messing around with the slurry lather method. I'll load with a lightly wet brush, and then when the lather starts to come together, it won't be quite as bubbly because there won't be as much water in the beginning. And what we're going to do is slowly add water until we get a sheen on the lather. We talked about sheen last time, and it can't be, and how it can't be applied as a rule for all soaps. It's just a rule for some soaps in terms of having it be hydrated properly when you get a sheen. I've definitely had plenty of soaps that never got a sheen, even though they were just crazy hydrated and awesome. So that's what I'm glad I remembered that. So kind of a normal load, not tons of water in the beginning, and then we'll just add water as we go until we get a sheen, and then we're going to shave with that and see what kind of lather that is. Is that the right lather? Is that a little too dry? Is that a little too wet? You know, where does that land us? And of course, is it the right lather? That's a subjective thing. For me, I like to try to get a lather that is lightly creamy, where the dry, you know, when it's dry, it's very creamy. And then as you add water, it gets a little bit less creamy, okay? But then, as you add water, you're also going to have slickness that increases over time. And so right where those two cross, where the creaminess and the slickness cross, is often where I like to try to be. Unfortunately, it doesn't really intersect too well with this particular base, or at least it does intersect, but it's way down here where the creaminess has really dropped away. Almost forgot to show you the blade for today. There's the razor. The Nacet. Showing you the identifying marks. Speaking of timeless, just today I was looking at an email that Magrid Razors sent out. I definitely encourage you to get on their mailing list so that you can see sales that they have, especially Black Friday, that sort of thing. Holidays, they do different sales. They'll also let you know about new products that are coming around. I don't really browse a lot of websites and stuff usually to keep an eye out on all the new products. I just kind of let them come to the different spheres where I'm involved, and if they don't, they don't. Timeless has created a new brush, a new type of brush, where, find one that has a handle like this, okay, where the ferrule, we'll call this the ferrule, I think that's the right name for it, this separates, and it's a ring. The bottom part has, and then there's a screw junction between the two, so you tighten them together. The ferrule has a little thing where you can put the brush knot in through there, something like that. And then on the base, though, it's got an opening inside. It's almost like an empty socket to hold a brush knot. And that's what it is. It's to hold a brush knot. But it's to hold a temporary brush knot. Their new aluminum handle is designed to where you can swap out the brush knots super easy with no silicone or epoxy or any kind of adhesive. It uses a compression fitting like a plumber might use to join pipes or to join a pipe to a fixture. And what happens is at the base of the knot, I don't think I have a knot. I don't think I have a knot in here. At the base of the knot, there's a glue bump. And the Timeless supplies about 9 different, can't remember what they called them, grommets, or that's not, bushings, something like that, that go around the glue knot of your size knot. I think anywhere from like 20 millimeter all the way up to 29 or something like that millimeter. And you put that little housing, that bushing, on the end of your knot, and then you push it in through the handle, and then you tighten everything down. And the housing there, a collet, I think they called it a collet, because that really is kind of what it is. And that tightens everything down, and then several of the Magrid Razors commenters were saying that it works really well. One guy said he liked to use it to test out new knots before he would assume that he liked the knot, and then he would mount it in more permanently in another handle. But you could theoretically go on a trip with that one handle and put your 2 or 3 different brush knots in smaller containers, and then you have one handle and you just swap them out whenever you feel like one brush over another one. Really interesting idea. Got to figure out if I want to buy that or not. But really neat idea. I'm glad they're doing that. And you just screw the 2 pieces together, unscrew it whenever it came time to release the knot. No glue or anything. So I've shown you the blade. Get my face wet now. We've kind of figured out that about 12 swirls or so will give you plenty of water for or soap for the multiple passes that we need to do here. So why don't we do 14 just to make sure we have plenty of lather. 1, 2, 3, 4. First 14. Since I am not using a brush that's quite as hydrated as I have for a lot of the month, there's not as much to drip down into the bowl, but that's okay. We do have a little bit of water in there from the tub of soap. And then here's what we still don't see a lot of soap. There's not a lot of dry lather there, not dry, but pasty. We definitely did not create a paste. But honestly, that's okay. This picks up a lot of soap, and we are going to have plenty of soap on there. Even right now, I need to tilt you down so you can see stuff. Even right now, Haha, the phone's swinging just a touch. Sorry about that. So it does bubble up right away. That's normal for this soap. I can feel the backbone of the brush because there's just not much, lather built up yet. You can hear, you can pay attention to the sound as you're building your lather because that is an indicator. In the beginning stages, assembling a lather like this, it will be more of a dry sound and you'll be able to tell the difference in a little while. So we are combining the soap that was in the brush with the water that was in the brush. And you can tell, already you can tell we're going to have plenty of lather to do the job today. So I'm going to take my little jigger, which has roughly about 20 I think that holds, 20 mils of soap, of water. Add that in. So we're just going to keep on adding water until we start to see a sheen, a notable sheen. It's a satin type of sheen right now. But this is, I can tell you, this is too dry. Okay, so add a little bit more water. Someone posted a question to me in the comments about the way I put together a lather like this and how it takes several minutes, and whether I do that every day or every time I shave, or is that just for, perhaps he was indicating, is that just for the demonstration on the video? And you know what? When I bowl lather, yeah, this is pretty much the way I do it. Sometimes I know how much water, approximately how much water to use, and then I will pour in that in the beginning, and then you have a quicker time there of just working the lather until it looks right. But yeah, I do that all the time. In the beginning though, as I was kind of getting my footing and discovering things, boy, some of my shaves are like 45 minutes long. And part of that was because I didn't want to do a lot of cuts. There's a lot of shave videos out there where you miss a lot of the lather generation. And one of the things I want my channel to be is a good place for you to see how the lather's created and not miss any of the steps. And so if you are kind of in a hurry or something, we don't have a sheen yet, it's still kind of a satin. If you are kind of in a hurry, YouTube has a play speed feature. Hover over the video, look for a gear icon, go to playback speed, choose like 1.25 or 1.5. 1.25 is, you're going to usually be able to hear the person's words very easily and understand them. It's not going to be too fast for that, but you'll still save some time. Oh man, I didn't need to load that much. Look at how much lather I have. 1.5, if I get to talking fast, then that might be too fast to understand everything, but you'll get through and be able to maybe get to a certain point in the video faster if you want to do that. So this is a terrific looking lather. It's getting a little bit more of a shine to it. I'd still call it satin, so let's just keep on going. It'd be funny if we got all the way to the sheen stage and it was too wet, you know? You recall there did not seem to be too much soap on my brush after I loaded, but obviously we have a ton of lather available. Let's keep adding water. And look, we're getting down to the bottom of the, is this 40? Let me look. Yeah, 40 cc's, 40 mils. If I am in a rush, if time is important, then I'll probably do the slurry lather method. It's messy, but it's really fast, and I still get a highly slick lather. But I consider time spent building up a lather to be almost meditative, contemplative, part of a ritual. And take a moment and stop in your day. Sometimes that's a luxury to have that kind of time. Sometimes it's not. I mean, sometimes you can easily have that kind of time, and sometimes it's a luxury that you can't afford. So, yeah, I'd almost say it almost has a sheen right now. It's kind of a shiny satin. There are other more luxurious soap bases that really provide an amazing gloss. Let's just go ahead and add the last bit here. Listen to the sound. It's different than that dry sound before. It's a little bit more muffled because the wetness in the lather, the quantity of lather here is muffling the sound. So it's yet another attribute you can watch to know when your lather might be ready for you. Yeah, I don't reckon it has a sheen, but it's a pretty shiny satin. And hopefully you can kind of see it well enough. And let's just go with that because I'm confident that it's ready to go. Question is it too wet? Is it going to hold together? We'll find out. I'm going to get my face wet. And you know what I decided to do just now? I took a big dollop with my hand of the lather and just put it on my face almost like I was using a spray can of shaving cream. And I used it as a face wash, just kind of rubbed it in a little bit. And so then hopefully the first pass of with a brush won't have to contend as much with my face oils. dip in there a little bit and just kind of top off the empty spots. And it seems like that's about right. Seems like I landed just so maybe not getting to the sheen stage, but kind of a shiny satin. Might put this soap right where I like it. We'll just see. Splash of water. As always, proper razor technique, light touch, only press in hard enough to keep the razor in contact with your skin. Some people like to repeat the mantra, no pressure, but it's not really realistic when you're doing your neck, right? You've got to put forth a little bit of pressure. Let gravity do the work is another one. Well, if you let gravity do the work, you'll never shave your neck. But if it helps somebody to realize just how little pressure that you should really need to use, then maybe the no pressure is helpful. Better than nothing. Third pass now. It was neat yesterday. I timed my pass. And the whole pass from the end of one cycle to the beginning of the next was 1 minute long. That's pretty good to know. And now we'll do whatever pass is next. Tons of lather. Tons, tons, tons. And there we go. Yeah, that's pretty much the perfect lather. In terms of this particular base and what it offers, in terms of a bowl lather, that's about as good as it's going to get. At least to me. That's cool. Give it a good rinse. 14 swirls. And I've still got this much lather left. This is a pass right here. There's like 4 passes of lather at least left in the bowl here. I did not need to doubt myself, but that's okay because it's really well hydrated, so it's really not much soap. Alright, so let's do the splash while the bowl fills up with water. The face can be tender sometimes to alcohol splashes, but so much water floating around right now should really help it not to be an issue at all. My hands are super wet, my face is really wet. Rinse my razor out here, loosen it up, set it aside somewhere safe, and we have rinsed out the brush, given it a good shake, towel, stropped it kind of gently, removed the standing water, fluffed him out a little bit. He's ready to sit and wait. And we'll cap up the splash. Also rinsed out my bowl, so that's ready for tomorrow. And now the cologne. I've been doing the Midnight Stag Challenge during Austere August at our particular area of Reddit. People can do whatever they feel like in terms of using the same product all month. It can just be a soap, but it can also be anything leading up to the whole kit and caboodle staying the same. And how you guys have seen me changing my process because all the other variables are remaining the same. And so that's one of the nice things about it. It also combats the idea in our hobby that you always have to use something different, and let's not all be happy with just the same old thing. And so for many of us, it's kind of a relief that way. But then there are other side challenges, and I talked about them in the beginning of the month, such as buying a boar brush and making August the first time you use it. And you have to document it and all that stuff with photos. And then I'm looking forward at the end of the month to browsing everybody's boar brush photo albums and watch how the bristle tips start kind of vertical. And then as you progress through the month, in just a couple days, you'll start to see little splits. And you will see more and more, and more of the knot will open as it goes on through the month. And that's always fun to watch, because you know that means it's getting softer and more enjoyable. So I like that. I like that part for sure. Some people do a straight razor all month. Some people do, there's different challenges. Some people use mammoth all month. Some people, oh yeah, Greg is doing, I think he was trying to do a no strop. You know, he has a straight razor that he uses, and he's a good straight razor user. He knows what he's doing there. And so he was like, well, we don't strop DE blades. Even if you're a person who just wants to use one blade for 31 times all month, you're not stropping it, much less me. I'm not stropping my blade that's almost 600 uses long. And so why would you have to strop a straight razor? And so I need to tune in and look at his posts and see how he's doing there. I mean, anybody on the sub could sponsor a challenge. You know, use another dumb one is unscented. I wonder, did they do that this year? Did somebody do that this year? The guy who put it out, he's like, don't do this challenge. This challenge is not for anybody. But then he'll offer a gift card for Maggards or something like that. You should not do this challenge because you have to use unscented products all month. And so all these great scents that you might have sitting on your shelf have to go for nothing all month long. So yeah, I need to look and see if maybe if he brought that back or what. But if you want to create a challenge, you can do it with no reward and just say, hey guys, jump in with me. Everybody use Colonel Conk for the month. And, you know, it depends on how good or bad the soap or product is as to whether anybody's going to join you or not. But you can also add prizes if you're the person who has created the challenge. And people might join you with to try to accomplish and win your prizes. So this year, I doubt there will be. In some of the first years, there were cool prizes like brushes and things like that. This year, in one year, I got a trophy, little with a Midnight Stag figurine on top of a little plaque type trophy thing. It's kind of neat. Stephen Joyner of Dogwood Handcrafts put that together for all the people who completed it. And so it's I don't know if we'll have anything like that this time. Stephen kind of leaves it up in the air because I mean he's taxed and with a bunch of stuff and he can't. Boy, that one time he offered a brush to everybody who did the challenge. He thought maybe he'd be giving people like 6 brushes. I mean 6 total brushes, but I think it ended up to be 30 or probably more. And so he was very surprised at that expense. And so he did not do that same reward again for obvious reasons. He's just a small business, and I'm glad that they've been in business for a while now, him and Courtney, and they do a good job with their soaps and splashes and brushes and all that stuff at Southern Witchcrafts. And so I wish them all the best, and the fact that they're still going in this industry is a good thing. So there we go. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Thanks so much for joining me this austere August. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.